Well, the human reality has a belief that because things are not complete. It's not complete, so we need to keep going. We need to keep trying. We need to improve. We need to advance. We need to become more ascended. We need to become a more advanced civilization. So we're going to keep rearranging fixed matter. Yes? We want to improve. Because the memory and the history have been lost, that you don't need to improve this, you need to expand out of it and begin to create there. Can you understand it? Yeah. It's like having a group of humans in a glass house. Yes, there's a group of humans in a glass house and they're creating beautiful agriculture, horticulture is the word in this one's mind. And they produce beautiful blooms. And what they discover is the blooms don't last very long. So they have to keep planting them and keep creating them. And they try to improve them and make them last longer. And then they want to change the color of them. And then they want to plant more in different patterns. And it happens for generations and generations and generations. And look where we started hundreds of thousands of years ago. And now look at these new versions. It's incredible. But what humanity doesn't do is open up the door of the glass house and say, oh, what can we do out here? Can you understand? Yeah. And that's the reality of the mind-brain systems of memory that have kept you in the glass house. It's an intensified experience. Yes?
Yeah.
What is your question?
I don't know.
It's frustrating to you.
Yes.
Because it doesn't make sense why you're here.
No.
You're here
But I won't go.
because you are a part of the dawning of humanity getting out of the glass house. You're meant to be dissatisfied.
Yeah. I am.
You're meant to be. Because if you weren't, you'd just be trying to make a new kind of plant in there. Can you see it?
Yeah.
And there are many that are very distracted by third dimensional reality and alignment, and they love it. Why do they love it so much? First of all, because there's an aspect of consciousness that wants to carry on the third dimensional reality even when humanity begins to move beyond it, because remember, it's still valid, but more attention will be moving away from it. And also because the mind brain loves to think that it's solving a problem. That's what it's designed for. And that's why there are many who love being involved in solving problems and improving things, because then they have their validity. Oh, my mind brain's engaged in changing fixed matter or realigning fixed matter. I have a reason to be on this earth. So you can begin to understand the younger generations who do not really want to engage with anything. It's because they don't want to change anything. And they want change, but they don't want to change this. They want change that is not describable to them yet. Can you see it? The inherent dissatisfaction of what is available to them. Yes?
The glass house will always be there? Or
It will always be there.
So
And there will be those that still continue to sustain it. Because it is a beautiful creation. But it doesn't need this much attention. It's getting hot in there. And crowded. Yes? And then people start getting competitive. And then they have to introduce hierarchies because there's too many people in the glass house. There's too much attention on creating here. So we need a system whereby some people get to create and the others get to work to help that creation. Starting to make sense? Encapsulation has been the experience.
Some of us just going this way, out.
Physically you'll still be here, but your attention will be moving outside.
Okay.
And you'll start attending to that, creating that, expanding that. So in essence, what's happening is that the reality for humanity begins to expand out of the glass house. You begin to embrace your intergalactic nature and partnerships, and you begin to see, know, understand more, and life becomes an exploration again. Consciousness does what it does best. But it gets to do it in human form. Yes?
So what does it look like for a human that's, say, operating in that way? Are they still going to be going to jobs? And
At this time on the planet, they're still engaged in third dimensional reality, but their attention is elsewhere. So they may be participating in terms of family or in terms of a work environment or colleagues, but when their joy is really there, it's in the creating beyond that. And there will be a transition time where you can sustain both those states, but then you realize, actually, I can survive as a human outside of the glass house. Because the reason that many humans are waking up and their attention is outside the glass house, but they're still in it, is because they still believe that if they leave, they'll die. Yes, if I leave the glass house, I won't be able to sustain myself. Completely ignoring the premise that if you move outside of the glass house, you get all of these fertile lands. But the belief in the glass house is, yes, there's too many people in here, we need to organize things and control in a certain way, but if you step out, first of all, you're going to be ostracized because you're no longer contributing to what's happening in the glass house, and secondly, you're probably not going to survive. You're going to die, you're going to be on your own, nobody is going to come and join you. And so you have these beings on the planet now who are so discontent and so encouraged by what their imaginations are showing them that's possible within the fields that cannot be created in the glass houses, because remember, there's a lot of innovation on the planet at this time, and a lot of it cannot be created within current structure. It won't sustain it. Something that grows in the field will not survive in the glass house. And they believe in it because they've seen it so much. They've intuited it, they've felt it, they've spent time with it energetically, and they know that it exists not just in their imagination or their knowing or wisdom, and they actually have the courage to get out of the glass house and go and watch it develop. And as soon as you have enough humans standing out in the fields, people start looking through the windows of the glass house going, hang on a minute, there's something that exists out there. I'm not going to die after all. So we're giving you this particular metaphor because it is the same as the encapsulated grid systems on the planet and starting to move out into the interplanetary, intergalactic grid systems. The intergalactic grid systems support creation beyond the glass house. And they're there. It's like having a built-in irrigation system in your fields. It's already there, but unless you have the courage to actually step out into it, how are you going to know?